everybody, and welcome to Criminal Genealogy. I am your host, Gwen. I am your criminal genealogist. I have a wonderful story for you this evening about a gentleman named Russell Augusta Hosler. And it's spelled H-O-S-L-E-R, Hosler. I'm going to go through all my research that I did on him. I'll post pictures and his criminal record and everything for you. I want to start out first with this wonderful article. Airplane Derby entry crashes. Hosler's injured in a takeoff for the day's flight. Only 11 left in the race for $15,000 prize. Russell was a pilot. He loved to fly, and he had planes, and he loved competitions, and he joined many of them. And during Prohibition, he decided he was going to smuggle booze to Canada. He got caught, and he did some time in federal prison at Leavenworth. And this is his story. Russell Augusta Hosler was born the 28th of July, 1902 in Huntington, Indiana, to Milo Alexander Hosler, who was born in 1868 and died in 1940, and Della Lona Eddingford. She was born in 1873 and died in 1962. He became inmate number 38731, Leavenworth Federal Prison, and was received the 25th of April, 1931 from Detroit, Michigan. His crime, Prohibition conspiracy. Term, 2 years. He was 28 years old. Occupation, aviation. He was paroled the 16th of February in 1932. In 1931, Russell and two other I skipped a part. So he went to prison, and his phone had been wiretapped. It said wiretapped for evidence. Phone talk read by federal prosecutor in plane smuggling trial. Evidence gained from tapped telephone wires. Wednesday. Featured at the trial before federal judge Edward J. Maness of 3 men charged as airplane pilots that were smuggling across the border. Now, he claimed that he had an alibi. Don't they all? Okay, so I have pictures of what his plane probably would have looked like at the time because they describe it in detail and I Googled it. So I will have those posted for you. And then when he goes to prison, he gets an idea. He decides to build a glider to escape. And this is what happened. Russell Hosler, suspect and pilot to escape penitentiary in a glider. Russell, who learned to fly in the barnyard in Union Township and later won International Promise. During the 1930 All-American Air Derby, is believed to be one of 2 prisoners who planned a daring escape from the federal penitentiary at Leavenworth, Kansas, in a glider they assembled on the roof of the prison shoe factory. Hosler, engaged in aviation, worked at Detroit, was sentenced to 18 months at the federal prison for smuggling aliens and liquor across the Canadian border in his plane. That was a year ago. The escape pilot was engineered by an experienced aviator sentenced to prison from Detroit for smuggling liquor and aliens. Prison officials said the plot was discovered when the third convict, taken into confidence of the other two, found that the glider would only accommodate 2 people. Oh, the poor guy. So I suppose he got ticked off because he wasn't going to be able to escape too, so he was going to spill the beans. And they say what goes on in prison stays in prison. I don't know. All right, so in confidence of the other 2, he found that the glider would accommodate only 2 persons. He revealed the construction of the plane to the warden. Hosler and his companion were awaiting a strong wind to sail off the roof of the high building and land in the woods nearby. The glider was capable of flight, and officials of the prison said Saturday. Material for the glider, complete even to bicycle landing wheels, had been smuggled into the prison. The machine had a wingspan of 14 feet. The escape plot was frustrated about December 11th, shortly before 7 convicts escaped Warden White. 7 convicts captured and Warden White and escaped. The warden was seriously wounded, and 3 of the convicts, the aviator believed to be Hosler and his companion, were placed in solitary confinement and merits removed from their prison records. So prisoners get good time. They spend, like, every day they're good and they do their work duties. They have to make their beds and these kinds of things that they have to do in prison. So if they're good, they get so many points per day. And all those points at the end of the month and then at the end of the year all accumulate. So I'm not sure how many points they all get and how it works, but I do know that the points come off towards the end. So they could get out of prison on parole several months earlier than normal if they get their good points all. But if they do anything to violate any regulations or rules in the prison, the guards have the right to take anything away from them. All right, so Hosler, at the time of his arrest, was planning the construction of a Racer motored craft of his own, designed at Toledo. Previous to that time, he had constructed and flown the first monophone using but 1 landing wheel. This machine with a convertible cabin caught fire in the air and was brought to earth by Hosler only after he was seriously burned about the hands and the face. After his arrest at Detroit, Hosler was prematurely grounded by the United States government for his misdemeanor. Hosler would have been eligible for parole in February. With this in mind, friends and relatives in Huntington and Allen counties had prepared a petition for his parole, which was to have been presented to the President Herbert Hoover. If Hosler engineered or was connected in the escape plot, he must serve the full sentence of the 18 months. Hosler has flown on numerous occasions in Huntington, and several years ago took up passengers from a field north of the Hawley Heights addition. The plane was one of the first he constructed. Isn't that interesting? So this gentleman, according to my research, had never been in trouble before. And as we all know, Prohibition, people went to jail, mostly went to jail. Some of them went to prison. But if you're trying to find your ancestor who was arrested for Prohibition, it was most likely in a local jail, and there probably won't be a record of it because they knew the cops there. They all knew each other, and they probably just got a slap on the hand, and it probably wasn't even recorded. So, after all of this, when he left prison, he went back home to help his family farm. But he did not stay grounded for long. Russell died the 6th of December 1979 in Toledo, Ohio, and now he will always get to fly. His story captured my heart because my daddy had a small plane when I was growing up. It was a little silver coupe, and he took us kids up. I must have been 5, 6 years old. And he would take me and my 2 little brothers up in the plane, and he would do loop-de-loops. And I remember how magical it was to be in this airplane. And he would go right down over the ground, and then he'd go back up. And when you were up so high and you looked down, you could see the cars moving. It was like a magical world, like it was a fairy tale. And I was wondering how these cars could move around and these little animals, and it was so cool. I absolutely was hooked. I loved it. And I'll show you a picture of my dad's plane, and I am sitting on the wing with my 2 brothers when we were little. So I hope you liked this story, and I will put his records and these pictures that I found and a picture of him in here for you. And if you want a more in-depth, want to see all the records, I did do a blog post on him, so you can go to my blog, and that is Criminal Genealogy at blogspot.com, and please give me a follow on there. I'm trying to get 300 followers by the weekend. I have 202 or 201 right now, and if you'd be so kind as to click the little subscribe button down there, that will help circulate my videos. I would really appreciate that very much. And I'm going to have another video here very soon for you. So with that, I sure hope you have a beautiful evening. Till next time, don't get arrested. Good night, everybody.